We have seen people go from like 250s to failing, not because they lacked knowledge, not because they were bad at interpretation.
So Rowan University in New Jersey, it's an osteopathic school, and I'm looking to get a community-based general surgery slot. The highest one, the 525, corresponds to like 220, and the goal is like 250, 255. I'd be more than happy. I just feel like in my fifth week, I'm still discovering like major knowledge gaps. Like it's causing some, I don't know, bottleneck or anxiety or both.
So we'll talk about that. Let's address that first. There are things that are true, and then there are things that are causal, and those aren't necessarily the same things. So it is true that I constantly am still learning things that I never learned before. And I've made over 20,000 Anki cards, and I still do all of them every day, all the do ones every day. And there's still tons of things that I don't know. Now, does that mean if I don't know something, like I still have knowledge, so I still have knowledge gaps? Now, does that mean that I couldn't do well on any of these exams? I mean, it depends, right? But like for the most part, like, I don't know, that fact in and of itself, I'm sure is unlikely to be a reason that you would miss even more than like, I even know like one question. I'd be surprised if that particular thing was the reason that you missed even a question. Because I get the sense that you're feeling a lot of pressure. You're feeling kind of anxious. Is that fair?
Yeah, very accurate.
What makes you the most anxious?
Well, like, I don't know if you can see like from the June 25th, I did post like screenshots of my NBME form, like the score breakdown there. And I just did not like all the below average green boxes. Like that kind of really caused me to get more anxious than I already am. So
I understand, but like, what are you most afraid of?
not passing.
So you're afraid you're going to fail. So there's a couple things I want to talk about. The first is I want to talk about your anxiety. So that's kind of the elephant in the room. Because honestly, I think that there's two things that that's doing. One is that I think that it reflects maybe a lack of objectivity that you have right now on sort of your situation, which I think is going to hurt you, right? You need to learn how to be more objective with the situation, because you, like, when you're doing questions, you have to be able to sort of like see the situation for what it is, not what you're afraid it is. Also, as a surgeon, that's actually going to be really important, because I can tell you that when, things go crazy in the OR, you need to be able to stay calm and assess things with a clear and level head. I'm sure you know this, right? I'm sure you've seen things go wrong, right? And so it's really important that you can learn to just to not worry about what this thing means and to just be present and assess it. The second thing is that specifically for this test, you don't want to go in with the mindset of like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Because I guarantee that there's going to be questions on the test that you didn't prepare for. And they're going to feel like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And if you're in your head and thinking like, oh God, I have to score really high in this test, I'm really afraid I'm going to fail. Oh, this is really high stakes. You will probably, it can affect your score. What are your thoughts?
I mean, that kind of tracks, because like in the OSCEs where I was more relaxed, I do better on, versus the OSCEs where I'm so hyper focused on like getting a specific score is actually the ones that I did worse on than the ones where I didn't really get anxious about.
Only two reasons that I've ever seen someone score drop dramatically on their test relative to their predicted. The first is burnout, which is maybe 10% of the cases. The second is anxiety, which is like 90% of the time. One of the things that I have found the most helpful for dealing with anxiety from a cognitive standpoint is reframing it. And specifically the reframe that I like to use is, okay, so I'm worried about this one particular outcome. So in your case, it's I'm really worried about failing my exam. The issue is that is like, it feels specific, but it's actually not. Right? When you leave these fears as these sort of like vague, like, oh my God, what would happen if I failed? And you leave it at that and you don't open the door to what it would actually look like, it is actually much more scary and the anxiety that it provokes is much higher, and therefore the effects that it has on your score are much stronger. And so what we need to do is we actually need to walk through that door and actually explore it. If you're a medical student or a doctor preparing for either the USMLEs or COMLEX or one of your medical board exams, then be sure to sign up for our free 14-step program where we'll walk you through the most efficient ways for you to improve your score in a short period of time. And if you're interested in getting there faster, be sure to book a free call with our team where we'll break down what it is that's holding you back and, if it makes sense, explain how it is that we can help you to get there more efficiently. Now, the thing that people are afraid of when I say that is like, oh my God, if I think about this more, am I going to like, just like kind of think it into being, right? It's not that though, right? Instead, what we find is that if an outcome is so scary, it is going to cause more anxiety, right? What I want you to come to is the realization that under any circumstance, you will be fine, even on the crazy, unlikely scenario, the crazy, scary scenario that you fail. Let's just say you open your score, you failed your test. Would your life be over?
No.
No.
Nope.
Okay, so what would you do in that scenario?
So I would just talk to like a school counselor, see what my options are. Like if I can retake the exam, how soon I can retake it. Yeah. And just regroup.
Yeah. Does it mean that surgery is like forever off the table?
No, not necessarily, but I would be more open to other specialties. Like actually, I'm considering dual applying even now. So
Okay, what would you apply to do?
I'm thinking of going also like just IM, because I did enjoy my IM rotation. So probably would consider that.
Knowing that you've got backup plans of your backup plans, how do you feel now about your test?
Much better, actually.
Great. Why?
It's like you said, it's not this scary thing, you know. It's not the ideal situation, but there's ways around it.
So much of my life, I had this feeling of like, if I don't achieve X, then I will be blank. Like I will not be happy. I will not be successful. I will not be whatever. Right. It felt like I was moving from one high stakes situation to the next. I think that I was successful despite that, not because of it, in retrospect. Right. I think that is much healthier, and I think you will. I mean, just I've seen enough of these scenarios to know that when people's scores drop dramatically, it's because they're putting so much pressure on themselves, and so that's what you want to account for, right? You want to go in knowing no matter what happens, I will still be okay. I will still live a good life. Right? I don't mean to say like, oh, rest on your laurels, like false confidence. Like, no. Like, I want you to actually know in your heart of hearts, like, oh yeah, no, if I failed, this is what I would do, and this would be okay. This is what I would do, and this would be okay. This is what I would do, and this would be okay. Like, I can get there. There's tons of people that fail these exams, and then they end up matching. There's tons of DOs that fail these exams and end up matching. Right? Even matching into general surgery. When I was a medical student at Stanford, there was a resident, so she was an intern. She didn't match into a categorical surgery program, but she soaped. I don't know if she soaped, but she matched into Stanford's prelim surgery program. So then she reapplied the next year. Guess what? They liked her, right? Because she was really strong, right? She worked well with them. They're like, oh yeah, we like this girl. And so they took her on the categorical program next year. Now, in fairness, she had to repeat her intern year, which sucks, right? Granted, it's not anyone's first choice to do that, but she was a Stanford general surgery resident. There was another guy, right, who matched into MGH, the Harvard MGH program, not his first choice, but then guess what? They took him the next year, and actually, in his case, I don't even think he had to repeat his intern year. I actually think he was able to, because someone quit or something, right? So he just went through.
Yeah.
And so the point is that there are so many different doors that you have left open to you. And so just know that not everything hangs in the balance with any of these tests. You will be fine regardless. And knowing that, ironically, means that your score will probably be better.
No, that actually makes total sense. I mean, I kind of feel better about it, just thinking about it in that way.
That's great. I can feel it. You are giving off much more calm energy, which is great, right?
Mhm.
This is what I want it to feel like when you're taking your test. So EMDR will help a lot. And just keep going through this exercise. Okay, so what am I actually afraid of? Okay, let's
Mhm.
imagine the absolute worst case scenario. Okay,
Mhm.
let's say that I'm sitting in the worst case scenario. What would I actually do in that scenario? And then just actually in detail, vivid detail, plan out exactly what you would do. And then set that plan aside and know that, oh yeah, I would be fine. And then just go back to your studying or go back to your test or block or
Mhm.
whatever. Yeah, I'm excited for you. So work on this stuff. I think the more that you deal with the anxiety, I think the better your studying will be, the higher your scores will be, like
Mhm.
the higher in the range of like, closer to the ceiling of what your
Mhm.
knowledge is going to give you will be. Um, and especially as you start to have your practice approximate the real thing more, I
Mhm.
think you'll start to see even better results. So I'm really excited for you. Definitely. Yeah, definitely keep me posted.
All right, will do. Thanks, Dr. P.
If you're putting in the hours but your knowledge isn't accumulating, it's not about studying more. It's about building a system where nothing you learn gets forgotten. In this video, I break down the exact framework to make that happen and get you on track for a 260 plus in step 2. Click here to watch it next.